Hello, fellow warriors against consensus reality. Just a simple little video today. And although my new channel has been already targeted by fascist tube for censorship and all the rest of it, those 9, 10 or 11 people that actually will view this, this is who I do it for. So even if one or two of you actually stop and think for yourself and begin the necessary inner work, then my job is done. Because truth has never and will never be popular. It will never gain you quote-unquote traction. So I've accepted that and even revel in that. So very well. There was a few things that got me thinking during the week. It's people ask me how I am, and honestly, really good, because I am totally and fully free of any drama nonsense on YouTube. I have no idea who any of the usual drama junkies, what they're up to. I have no idea what they're doing, neither do I care. I have removed myself from all channels and all Discord servers where drama is king, so I have no idea and no desire. And that feels absolutely wonderful. Because sadly, as an exercise in the study of human behaviour, it's an example of what the collective energy awareness known as chaos, what it does to people when they allow it. And of course, wonderful people like Thomas Sheridan talk about the jinn, who are, I suppose you can say, personifications of malevolent chaos, destructive chaos. As I've said, I've already made the distinction between malevolent chaos and the transformative chaos, which we need for wonderful things like the spark for our inner journey and even magical work. You know, the kind of magic where harming someone or something else is not the key? Yes. But the example of the malevolent, destructive chaos is seen on YouTube all the time, because YouTube is a microcosm. And unfortunately, it has a way of dragging people into its sticky clutches if you allow it. And it's very, very difficult to get yourself out of it. It's possible, but it's difficult, and it's a very isolating journey. And were it not for wonderful communities I'm now involved with, like the Star Wars, Star Trek, DC, Marvel, all the rest of those wonderful people, I've name-dropped their channels a few times, you know, notable people like Nerdrotic and John Talks and Fatal J and all these wonderful people. And also the Lord of the Rings Online people that I'm involved with now, which are a good bunch of people who share a mutual love for my favourite game of all time. So life is good. But looking back at the people you care about, especially ones who may be still stuck in drama, you see how far you've actually come. And by conducting yourself on this journey, you make a few perhaps unconscious discoveries along the way. Now, Thomas Sheridan spoke about this to great effect in one of his videos, which I'll put the link for in the video description, on charisma, which of course is a Hellenic word and a Hellenic concept, basically meaning gift of the gods. And he kind of sparked off a couple of interesting thoughts about that, which I thought, okay. I paused in my tracks and I thought about that. I'm thinking, okay, interesting. Because once you begin the journey of inner discovery and self-awareness and all the rest of that wonderful stuff, you come to discover the power of no, basically. The power of remaining true to your own convictions and your own path. So that when you no longer obsess over drama and you begin to remove yourself, when people share information or whatever it is, or screenshots, that's my fucking favourite form of fuckery that you people do. Screenshots. And if this gobshite next door will actually shut the fuck up for a moment, one can actually hear oneself think. And once you actually begin to put up barriers, for example, no, I don't want to hear about that crap anymore. No, thank you. You're gathering the power within yourself, and of course that you're creating your own charisma, which is basically your own radiating inner power which other people are attracted to and can see. So once you do that, you gain that power and charisma around yourself, and people will stop and notice it, not necessarily understand it, but they will notice it. They'll stop, and the usual reaction is, okay. And yes, there will be a time when you will find yourself in a state of isolation, because you're removing yourself from one group of people and seeking connection with other like-minded group of people who you may have already begun connection with, but were sort of cast on the wayside in your pursuit of your drama addiction, which it is. And so once you start to set up barriers and say no to fake attention-seeking women online, especially when they send you photos of their cleavage. I'm sorry, but I don't do insecure attention whore anymore. Thanks. You block them and you move along your way. And the interesting byproduct of that, of course, is that they'll probably end up secretly wanting you even more, which is really fucking stupid, but anyway. But once you start to gather your own inner power around yourself and you start to develop that, you no longer allow your energy bodies to be contaminated by that nasty drama stuff. And you really start to notice it. You notice you walk perhaps with a spring in your step. You might be losing weight without really doing much different. Your skin might be better. You might have people comment that you seem happier lately, and it's true, you are, because you're no longer addicted to that crap. And then, of course, you discover, I actually would like to do this, because you're freeing up all that energy within you to be able to do that, a hobby that you've always wanted to do or whatever. Of course, when you're also battling with chronic procrastination, that's another beast. But you now have more power and more focus at your command to be able to conquer that and do something for yourself, for your higher good first. See, that's a problem with a lot of these airy-fairy, lovey-dovey types. Ooh, one love, lovey-dovey, all doing everything for everyone else. And what? Having no energy reserves for yourself? That's not how it works. That's called a martyr complex. Martyr complex helps no one, especially yourself. So I think I'll leave it there today. It does get easier to say no. and to remove yourself from all forms of chaos fuckery. It's not easy at first, but it does get easier as you go along, and you feel so much lighter and more carefree as a result. Nothing like it. Nothing like it. Even when you're dealing with mouthy, entitled, typical young women at work, whom you put in your place with some well-placed sarcasm, and then they kind of look at you with a weird expression on their faces. It's like, no, I'm not the soy-drenched simp. I even told one once, not long ago, I'm going to use a word that you're probably not used to hearing from a straight man. No. I love that. And one more thing too, when you do start to conduct yourself along your path, you may, through no conscious decision of your own, naturally just drift away from groups, from people that you may have respected and had high regard for in the past. In my case, many of the so-called MGTOW guys, because a lot of these people tend to still be stuck in the same small-minded little box and progress nowhere, go nowhere at all on their journey, and start mindlessly repeating the 5 or 6 guidelines of MGTOW. There's no commandments. You don't get to replace one form of dogma with another. It doesn't work that way. Life doesn't work that way. Certainly our inner life doesn't work that way. And you might find yourself, unwrenched and whatever. Well, that's just a natural byproduct of you going onwards and upwards and them staying where they are, because you no longer resonate on the same energy frequency. And that's fine. That's your journey. That's theirs. So just keep that in mind. The Lone Wolf on guitar, out.